Let's bring in now William Bird, who is joining us via Skype on the words of the Commission Chairperson. Mr. Bird, thank you very much for your time. So, the Commission Chairperson very clear that these people, or should I say their colleagues in the media fraternity who decided to publish information that was yet to be presented at the Commission, did this for financial purposes. So, can the media still use the public interest defense?
Hi, good morning. I believe that they can, and in fact, this is not a new issue. It's something that Media Monitoring Africa raised with the Commission when the regulations first came out in February 2018. It's an issue we've been trying to resolve with them since then, and it now looks as though we will be going to court to try and get some clarity on how those regulations should be interpreted. Clearly, I think it's in everyone's interest that the Commission goes ahead, but what we've witnessed over the last few months and weeks is that precisely because journalists haven't been able to get access to the testimony until after they finished testifying, we've seen people leaking bits and pieces, and we have no way of verifying if in fact those are the appropriate affidavits or whether those are the correct testimonies. So it's a difficult thing to balance, but I think that in general terms what we are wanting to do is make sure that as a default rule, journalists get access to the full statements of the various witnesses when they start testifying. At the moment it works where they get the witness testimony only once they finish. Now with someone like Mr. Grutzi, clearly that would have been, we don't yet know when he's going to finish. And so in the interim, it means that those who seek to deflect or deny or put out alternative forms are going to be able to do so, and our journalists are then hamstrung and being able to actually challenge that.
But William Bird, can I just ask this? Was it and is it appropriate for the media to publicize or publish this information or this testimony before it is presented before the Commission? Because the Commission Chairperson is very clear that no one has gone to court to declare these regulations unconstitutional. You yourself are saying that you are now going to go to court. So it's clear that we haven't even approached the courts as the media.
Well, look, as I said, I think that that's a very unfair comment, in fact, by Justice Zondo, because we have been engaging with the Commission since February in 2018. There's countless letters that we've been sending to engage on precisely this issue of when media should get access, what the regulation means, how it should be interpreted. And our view, of course, is that it clearly should be interpreted in line with our Constitution. At the moment, it seems that there's a conflict now because clearly the Justice is unhappy about some of the elements being revealed before they testify. And again, you have to say, well, if that testimony had been made public, in fact, it means that, and it was said during the Commission, that it actually places the lives of some of those testifying at greater level of safety, precisely because it's now public and the media have access to it. So, in short, if they've got the testimony, once they've started testifying, I think that they should be able to report on that. So, of course, before that, then it becomes a matter of whether or not they should be reporting before that. But even then, we would argue that once it's been committed to paper and they get hold of it, either through their legal teams or otherwise, that they certainly shouldn't be in breach of the law in possessing that material.
To an ordinary citizen, William Bird, who's listening to this conversation that you and I are having, in their minds right now, I don't think we could accuse them of not being fair to us if they interpret what you've just said as not being apologetic for possibly bringing into disrepute the work of this Commission, bringing into question the credibility of this Commission, because this is information that is leaked, at least we would want to assume, by someone who perhaps has this information within the Commission itself, or perhaps it could be outsiders. But the point here is the Commission Chairperson was clear and issued this warning last year that you are not to publish this information before it is presented orally inside that room.
So, and in fact, in response to the Commission, the Chair's comments last year, we had sent a letter and we've been engaging with them, which is why, I think that to get to this point, it shows that there's a great need for clarity. So certainly there's no effort, I think, by any of the credible media to bring the Commission into disrepute. You have to question the motives of those who are seeking to do so by putting out information that says this is the testimony, and this is precisely why you need to. So the Chair said, why not just wait until the person has finished testifying, then you can write your articles. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, precisely because they're testifying live. Now, if you're a journalist and you're needing to check something, or you're needing to understand how all of these people link together, you need actually to have the written testimony of the person there, so that you can say, this person said this and it links to this and this and this, or you can check the affidavit. So it's putting our journalists at a significant disadvantage if they're only able to get that statement after the person has finished testifying. So if you look at it and you say, well, fine, at what point should they be getting that information? So clearly what you don't want, and what seems the Justice is concerned about, is that before the person's even arrived or done anything, their testimony has been leaked. What we're not clear on is, because that hasn't been made public, we don't know if it is the real or original testimony, and we have to then question who's choosing to leak that beforehand. And that's a different kind of an issue from people that are seeking to bring the Commission into disrepute, from those that are saying, if we have all of this, in other words, if ENCA had in its possession now the full testimony of Mr. Gritzi, you could then check on air as he's busy testifying the various issues and facts, and you can in fact add value. What you can't do now is that if I say to you, well, I've got a copy of the statement, you don't know if I'm telling the truth or not, and I could say that he's about to share things about this and this and this person, and you wouldn't actually know if what I was telling you was in fact true or correct. And that, I think, is why we really need to get clarity. So, in fact, I don't believe that there's any fundamental disagreement between the Commission and the media that are seeking to report ethically and fairly. I certainly don't believe that for a moment. I think that we're going to find that there is a common point of departure around supporting and entrenching media freedom and ensuring that media can report fully and accurately on the Commission, and in fact making sure that they get access to the statements timeously.
William Bird, we're completely out of time, but yes or no, please. Should the media, the publications concerned here, apologize?
Well, it depends on which media and which issues. So I can't give you a yes or no answer to that, because I need to look at which media that they're referring to and determine whether or not we think that they should apologize.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. That's William Bird. He is with Media Monitoring Africa. All right. Let's